Dean Martin's son, Dean Paul, tragically passes away at the age of 35. Dean Paul Martin Jr. was a man whose grand dreams seemed to soar without limits, a multifaceted talent spanning music, sports, film, and even the skies above. But what happened to someone who seemed to have it all? How did a symbol of brilliance and passion become inextricably linked to an unshakable tragedy? The sky where he once soared high in search of freedom eventually became the stage where fate ended his brief life behind the glittering accomplishments and glamorous. The story of Dean Paul Martin Jr. remains a profound question mark, both a source of inspiration and an enduring lament. Born on November 17, 1951, Dean Paul Martin Jr. grew up in a household constantly bathed in the spotlight. As the son of legendary singer and entertainer Dean Martin and his second wife, Jean Beager. A series of painful losses turned Dean Paul's story into a sobering lesson about the cost of chasing dreams. Children. Jean had with Dean and the fifth of his father's 8 children. From the time of his birth, Dean Paul was surrounded by fame and high expectations from his family. Growing up in Hollywood, the epicenter of glamour and power, Dean Paul's childhood was anything but normal. His babysitters weren't just nannies, they were famous actresses like Marilyn Monroe, and A-list celebrities like Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. frequently visited his home. Living among such legendary people fueled Dean Paul's desire to one day become a silver screen star himself. Despite growing up in a free and luxurious environment, Dean Paul's parents made the decision to send him to the Brentwood, California, Urban Military Academy because they believed that he could not neglect his education or personal growth. This rigorous military school required discipline, resilience, and independence, which stood in stark contrast to the carefree allure of Hollywood. These early experiences helped him develop a strong, independent, and disciplined character. In contrast to the glamorous world he grew up in, Dean Paul was encouraged to follow in his father's artistic footsteps by pursuing a singing career. His remarkable voice and striking appearance made it easy for him to make a name for himself in the industry. But the pressure to live up to his family's fame and the weight of others' expectations made his journey anything but easy. Dean Paul represented 2 very different worlds: the freedom and glamour of a famous Hollywood family and the rigorous discipline of military life. Dean Paul Martin Jr. left his mark not only in music but also in sports and film, demonstrating that he is a rare, multifaceted artist and athlete. At the age of 13, he co-founded the band Dino Dizzy and Billy with his close friends Dizzy Arnaz Jr. This unique blend shaped his distinctive personality, making him a man of both spontaneity and responsibility. This foundation not only helped him navigate life's challenges, but also highlighted the singular character that defined his journey, one of both triumph and tragedy achievements across multiple fields. And Billy Hinshaw. This was no ordinary band. It was a fusion of artistic talent and powerful family legacies. The group immediately attracted attention with 2 hit singles, I'm a Fool and Not the Loving Kind, both of which made it into the Billboard Top 30. These incredible accomplishments came at a time when most people are still looking for direction. Their performances won widespread fan admiration and even respect from top bands of the era, such as the Beach Boys, who worked with them on songwriting. Although the band's career was brief, the impact. In spite of his success in music, Dean Paul did not stop there. As a teenager on the team, he decided to forego his nickname Dino in favor of his given name, Dean Paul, as a personal declaration of independence, leaving his father's shadow. This was the start of his journey into professional sports. Dean Paul had a lifelong love for tennis and worked tirelessly to become a remarkable athlete. He participated in Wimbledon qualifiers, which was an incredible accomplishment even for the most. Dean Paul's versatility continued to shine when he moved into acting in the 1979 film Players, where he played a professional tennis player, a role that mirrored his own life both on and off the court. Although the film didn't achieve significant box office success, Dean Paul's performance received praise for his intensely trained tennis players, demonstrated not only for his striking appearance, but also for his focus and exceptional skill. Despite receiving critical acclaim and being nominated for a Golden Globe for Best New Star of the Year, Dean Paul Martin Jr. persisted in pursuing his passion for sports and insisted that the filming schedule accommodate his tennis tournaments. This demanding balance demonstrated his unwavering dedication and incredible work ethic. Like many artists who achieve great success in their careers, Dean Paul Martin Jr. faced many challenges in his personal life, particularly in his marriages. His first marriage started like a fairy tale when he fell in love with actress Olivia Hussey after seeing her shine as Juliet in the 1968 movie Romeo and Juliet. Dean Paul won Olivia over with an unusual amount of tenacity, and the two married in 1971. With the support of friends and family, the couple had a son named Alexander Martin, who would go on to follow the family's artistic tradition and pursue a career in acting. Nevertheless, their marriage was not impervious to turbulence, as the demands of their careers combined with a gradual. After 7 years together, Dean Paul and Olivia decided to split up, leaving behind a deep sadness but keeping a friendly bond for the sake of their son. This breakup had a significant impact on Dean Paul, who struggled with the feeling that he had failed to preserve his family life and refused to give up on love. In 1982, Dean Paul married Dorothy Hamill, the renowned Olympic gold medal winning figure skater, in a ceremony that symbolized romance and love. Dorothy later disclosed in her autobiography that despite her love for Dean Paul, they were both too young and unprepared to handle the challenges of marriage. After just 2 years, they decided to divorce, leaving another emotional scar on Dean Paul. This hope for a fresh start was short-lived though, as both were consumed by demanding careers and frequent separations, which caused growing tension in their relationship. Not only to establish himself as an independent artist, but also to represent the role of a pillar of the family, an ideal he always sought to achieve. However, his inability to maintain his relationships and his feelings of inadequacy as a partner caused Dean Paul to become more and more burdened by self-doubt, which became a psychological burden that followed him from his first marriage into his second. After his 2 turbulent marriages ended, Dean Paul continued to look for love, and his subsequent relationships were just as fascinating as the man himself. Soon after Dean Paul started dating Tina Sinatra, the daughter of music legend Frank Sinatra. His most famous romance was with Candice Bergen, a stunning and gifted actress who was a Hollywood icon of the 1970s. Their relationship attracted special attention because of the connection between their 2 illustrious families. Tina was not only a close companion during one of the most turbulent times in Dean Paul's life, but also a longtime friend. Their bond reflected a deep empathy as both of them shared the heavy burden of living. Despite the fact that love and marriage never brought Dean Paul the fulfillment he desired, he continued to be a loving partner and a responsible father. His love story, which was full of lovely but unfulfilled dreams, embodied the fragility and pressure a multifaceted artist like Dean Paul faced. His previous marriages were not just sad chapters, but also reminders that even those who shine the brightest are not immune to the weight of expectations and life's challenges. In 1980, Dean Paul joined the California Air National Guard, bringing with him the zeal and determination of a man driven to push beyond every limit. He quickly rose to the rank of captain, demonstrating that his passion was matched by his talent and resilience. At just 16 years old, he earned his pilot's license, marking the beginning of a journey where the skies became not only a realm to conquer, but also an indispensable part of his soul. Dean Paul once said, "If I have to sacrifice myself in the skies, it's a price worth paying." This statement not only demonstrated his intense love for flying, but also his acceptance of any risks in pursuit of his passion. It wasn't just about daring the impossible. It was about living fully and authentically embracing the value of life by giving it. The discipline and integrity he demonstrated in the military were unquestionably testaments to his multifaceted abilities and unwavering spirit. But the skies that provided him with inspiration and peace were also where destiny awaited with its final challenge. For Dean Paul, becoming a pilot was more than just a career. It was a way to demonstrate that he could rise above the shadow of his legendary father and leave a legacy that was uniquely his own. This wasn't the end, though. It was an essential component of the path he had chosen. Although his journey ended too soon, it is a testament to a soul that never stops trying to conquer and transcend all boundaries. For Dean Paul, the sky was not only a place of freedom, but also a symbol of extraordinary dreams in every flight. He discovered a deep meaning to life that ultimately overcame the weight of expectations and pressure. Even in the face of a cruel turn of events, he left behind a legacy that inspires admiration in everyone who hears his story, to live fully and to soar as high as one's dreams. Dean Paul Martin, Jr., a 35-year-old pilot in the California Air National Guard, prepared for a training mission with his co-pilot, Captain Ramon Ortiz, on March 21, 1987. Tragically, on that day, unpredictable weather would prove to be an unbeatable foe. Their 4C Phantom jet was scheduled to fly over the San Gorgonio Mountains, an area known for aviation mishaps. What appeared to be a routine mission turned into a day that changed everything. Although weather forecasts had warned of a possible snowstorm prior to takeoff, Dean Paul, who had frequently expressed his deep love for the skies, could never have predicted that this would be his last flight. As he settled into the cockpit, he may have felt the familiar excitement of taking on a new challenge. But outside, the storm was silently gathering, heralding impending disaster. Shortly into the flight, a sudden snowstorm engulfed the San Gorgonio Mountains, reducing visibility to almost nothing. Air traffic control signals urgently advised the crew to change their flight path. But in such dire circumstances, Dean Paul and Ramon Ortiz might not have had time to react. The A4C Phantom's high speed and complicated controls appeared to lose direction, and all last attempts at communication between the cockpit and ground control failed. In those tense moments, nobody could stop the tragedy from happening. The jet crashed into the after losing contact with the plane. An urgent search mission was launched. Rescue planes and helicopters scoured the mountainous area, but the severe weather severely hindered their efforts. San Gorgonio Mountains at a devastating speed of approximately 400 mph. The impact was so forceful that it obliterated the aircraft, leaving no chance of survival for those on board. News of the crash spread quickly, but the remote and treacherous crash site made locating the wreckage a daunting task. Efforts for 3 days, Dean Paul's family and friends waited in excruciating suspense. Dean Martin Sr., the legendary entertainer, was reported to have smoked and prayed non-stop, holding on to the hope of a miracle. As time went on, that hope waned, and the Martin family even turned to psychics for assistance. One psychic claimed that Dean Paul was dead after touching his flight suit, while another directed them to a spot close to the top of San Gorgonio Mountain. Eventually, on the third day following the crash search, teams found the broken remains of the F-4C Phantom on the mountainside. It was confirmed that Dean Paul Martin Jr. and Ramon Ortiz had perished instantly in the crash, and all hope, no matter how small, had been dashed. The crash site was a scene of complete devastation, with the wreckage scattered across the mountainside as a stark testament to the immense force of the impact. The news quickly spread, leaving Dean Paul's family in Hollywood and the aviation industry. Dean Martin Sr., a symbol of tenacity in the entertainment industry, struggled to deal with the loss of his son. Those close to him described how he became more reclusive after the incident. The community was in shock as Dean Paul's remains were laid to rest at Los Angeles National Cemetery, a resting place reserved for U.S. veterans. It became his eternal resting place as a recognition of his contributions to both the military and public life. This tragedy served as a bitter reminder that even the strongest among us cannot escape the fragility of fate. Dean Paul Martin Jr. passed away at the age of 35, leaving an irreplaceable void in the hearts of his family and friends. The image of a proud father, now consumed by lingering sorrow, was a heartbreaking reminder of the depth of his grief. Friends and colleagues of Dean Paul openly expressed their sorrow, remembering him as an extraordinary talent, a man with grand dreams and an indomitable spirit. Once gave him a sense of freedom and boundless passion, but also signaled the end of his journey. His death not only brought to light the risks he was always willing to take for his love of flying, but it also served as a poignant reminder of life's fleeting nature and fragility. What are your thoughts on Dean Paul Martin Jr.'s inspirational yet incredibly tragic journey? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Dean Paul Martin Jr. passed away at the age of 35. In addition to hundreds of coworkers and loved ones from the entertainment industry, close family friends like Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and Lucille Ball attended his funeral in an atmosphere of solemnity and deep emotion, a testament to the profound impact he had made. These notable individuals came not only to pay their respects, but also to console his family, especially Dean Martin Sr., who faced the immense pain of losing his beloved son. The funeral was not only a time of mourning, but also a celebration of a vibrant life. Heartfelt tributes from friends and family revealed Dean Paul's many talents and character. A fellow serviceman spoke of his sense of responsibility and courage, saying that he was not only an exceptional pilot, but also a dependable teammate, always ready to confront danger. A friend from the entertainment industry recalled his days performing with Dino Desi and Billy, captivating millions of people. In a moving moment during the service, Dean Martin Sr., known for his cheerful and charming on-screen persona, whispered, "My son was the light of my life, and now that light has gone out." These words resonated throughout the room, leaving no one in attendance dry-eyed. The loss was a devastating blow to young fans for his family, especially his father. Dean Paul's legacy lies not only in his accomplishments in music, film, and the military, but also in his passionate approach to life. His musical contributions, especially hits like "I'm a Fool" and "Not the Loving Kind," are remembered as classics of their era. In film, his performance in Players earned him a Golden Globe nomination, demonstrating his true talent as an actor independent of his family's fame. In the military, he stood out as a skilled pilot and an inspiring figure to his peers, driven by dedication and a deep love for the skies. To those who knew Dean Paul, he was more than just a celebrity. Despite his brief life, Dean Paul taught his admirers to live fully and fearlessly in the face of adversity. They frequently said that in addition to his talent, Dean Paul touched their hearts with his sincerity and the radiant smile he carried everywhere he went. Looking back on Dean Paul's life, we can see how his grand dreams came at a great cost. He lived, loved, and left an enduring impression on the world. Dean Paul Martin Jr. was more than just an artist. He was a brilliant candle burning brightly in the night, providing light and warmth. Even if only briefly, he lived a life that anyone would admire, succeeding in music, shining on the silver screen, and soaring high in the limitless skies where he felt the freest. However, that radiant candle was extinguished far too soon, leaving an irreplaceable void in the hearts of those who loved him. The significance of his life wasn't measured by its length, but rather by the way he lived it, choosing to live fully with passion and ambition despite the risks, losses, and hardships. If you appreciate and value what Dean Paul Martin Jr. accomplished in his brief but remarkable life, share this video to spread his incredibly moving story. Don't forget to follow our channel to make sure you don't miss the next captivating tales of timeless Hollywood legends. The dream he pursued was his way of affirming his existence.